Hi again, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by Vinny Tickets. We're at Pier 60 for the Thurman Munson Award dinner tonight that goes to benefit the AHRC New York Foundation, a great cause and a great event here tonight at Pier 60.
Absolutely. It was so great to see Diana Munson and the words, and it's 45 years later. And you know what? It's still fresh in people's minds, and it just is really a tribute to what a special person Thurman was.
Thurman Munson was my favorite baseball player growing up, and we had a chance to chat with his wife, his widow, Diana Munson. Well, first of all, it's always great to see you. This event just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. What does it mean to you to be able to come back here to New York for this event to honor Thurman?
Well, each year I think it can't possibly get any bigger. And as a matter of fact, these kind of dinners usually kind of phase out. And this one just keeps growing. And it just shows how interested people are in a little catcher from Canton, Ohio, Thurman Munson. And I think 45 years later, remembering him and honoring him would mean so much to him, as I'm sure it does. But it means so much to my family. Because when we lost him, my children were only 4, 7, and 9. And so now they get to come and see his legacy and live it and hear all the wonderful things about him. It means a lot.
A few years ago, we sat down in Canton and we were talking a lot about Thurman. I remember asking you why you continue to do all of these interviews and why it's so, I don't want to say enjoyable, but so meaningful for you to talk about Thurman. And you say it's always because of the fans, because the fans always show you how much they loved him.
Well, that's exactly true. You know, people used to say, do you enjoy New York? And I said, listen, for me, New York is coming home because they love the man that I love. They embrace him, and after 45 years, they still remember him. And, you know, I haven't been shy about saying I really feel like Thurman, it's time for him to make the Hall of Fame. I really believe it.
Preaching to the choir there.
Well, exactly. Statistically, the fan club has shown me his numbers, and they're every bit as good as every catcher in the Hall of Fame. And I just think he was a rough and gruff guy, and I think that hurt him in the long run. But I also think he showed that you can have integrity and be a good ball player and still be a good person, which he did so many things for this charity and for charities all over. So I want people to know that about him.
How about the AHRC New York Foundation and all the millions of dollars that have been raised and will raise more here tonight at the event? Tell us a little bit about that foundation and how special it is for you and your family to have this money raised in Thurman's honor.
Well, I've learned so much about AHRC. I will admit in the beginning I didn't know much. I knew that Thurman had done some things for them, which was one of the reasons why I agreed to it. And they said it'll be built on sentiment, it'll last a few years, and you know, what a great way to honor it. Well, I have since gone to the camps and the schools and the group homes, and I've seen the good works that we have been able to help be a part of. And I have such pride in that because it's done in Thurman's name.
I have to tell you, both of my kids were catchers in Little League, and they would both come home after the uniforms were distributed, and they knew that Thurman was my favorite player, and they would come home and they would be sad, and then they would be like, why are you sad? The numbers would only go up to 13. I couldn't get 15 for you, Dad. So they not only is Thurman like favorites of old people like myself, but he has really touched a lot of the younger people who know the history of the Yankees.
Well, to me, that is the most startling part of this. I see it handed down through generations. Grandfathers and fathers have passed it down to their children. And one time I was at Yankee Stadium and I went out to where judges, I don't know what they call it, the judges' chambers. I went out there to see it, and there were several people that kept yelling, Miss Munson, Miss Munson. And I finally looked at him, and we made eye contact. All three of them turned around. Now it was, you know, the different steps up. It was a grandson, it was a father, it was a grandfather. They turned around, and every one of them had number 15 on. And to me, the fact that they all loved this man, where 2 of them probably didn't ever watch him play or know him, but the love still shows through, and is still their favorite player. That means a lot to me.
Thank you so much again for a few minutes. Enjoy the evening, and always good to see you.
I'm sure I will. Thank you so much.
We thank Diana Munson for her time here on the show. We also had a chance to talk to one of the award recipients here, 4-time Yankee world champion Tino Martinez. Boy, he really fit in well when the Yankees got him in 1996.
He sure did. Came in, had a big role to fill, and he came right in. At the beginning, he was a little slow. He said that he was pressing a little bit, but it seems he found his groove, and he did a fantastic job, and definitely one of the loved Yankees out there.
And it was great to catch up with number 24, Tino Martinez. What does it mean for you to be here to accept this award at the Thurman Munson? Obviously, he's a longtime Yankee. This has to really be a special feeling for you.
Yeah, it's quite an honor. I know the Yankee history, and I know what Thurman Munson meant to the New York Yankees in the Major League Baseball period, and what kind of player he was, what kind of person he was. So to be here tonight and get the Thurman Munson Award is it's quite an honor for me, and I'm very, very thankful for it.
You were in that Yankee clubhouse for a long time, and you would walk back and forth past Thurman's locker. What was that like to have that still in place all those years later? And were there a lot of discussions about the fact that he was such a revered Yankee?
No, well, we all knew how great he was, what a great Yankee he was. But to see his locker there every single day, with his number up there and his catching gear in the locker room, in his locker. We walked by it every day. We saw it. We knew what that meant to the Yankees. We knew what it meant to be a Yankee at that point, and we knew he was watching over us. So nobody dared go in there or touch the gear or anything like that. But we certainly enjoyed having him part of the team.
When you came to the Yankees, you replaced Don Mattingly, and I know you've talked about this many times before. What was the pressure like on you? Did you put pressure on yourself knowing that you had replaced Mattingly and how much the fans loved him?
Yes, I knew how much the fans loved him. I knew what kind of player he was and what he meant to New York. When I got traded here, I knew it'd be tough coming in, but I knew that I loved playing in Yankee Stadium as a visiting player. I loved hitting there, and I knew I would do well there. But when I first got here, I certainly put pressure on myself and tried too hard to impress the fans really quickly, impress my teammates, and I struggled for the first few months. But I knew
you hit that game-winning home run, and the fans won over the fans really quick that night.
Yeah, that helped. That helped a little bit too, though. I really did. But I knew that I was just pressing and trying too hard, and I knew once I got going and started hitting the ball well, that I'd be a better player, and the fans would hopefully like me, and they did.
Did you know that was a special team you were about to join? And I don't think anybody could have thought 4 championships in 5 years were coming up, but did you get a sense how special that team was going to be right off the bat?
I did. When I played for the Mariners the year before and I saw the guys they had there, a young Jeter coming up, Paul O'Neill, Andy Pettitte, Mariano Rivera, I knew they had a great nucleus there, and I just wanted to be a part of that and try to help them win. But nobody could have figured we'd win 4 World Series, but we knew we had a chance to win 1 or 2 at least for sure, but we just kept rolling and played hard every year, and it worked.
And I have to ask you about the current Yankees. There's some injury concerns, Garrett Cole, but still a very talented Yankee team that's still working out down in Tampa. You're confident about the Yankees' chances this year? Yeah,
I'm still very confident about it. Obviously, the Garrett Cole injury is a big hole in the rotation to begin with, but the other guys got to step up. Nestor Cortez, Carlos Rodon, they got to pitch the way they're capable of, keep their team in the games, and just try to win their starts and win as many games as they can until Cole gets back. So he's going to be missed for sure, but it's a team game. The guys got to hit, score runs, play defense, so they still have a chance.
Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the evening.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks so much to Tino for spending a few minutes. And there was another award winner, and that was former Met Howard Johnson, who was a big part of that 1986 team. He was a 30 for 30 guy before it was fashionable to be 30 and 30.
Absolutely. A good old Hojo, another great guy. Happens to be a big college basketball fan. I think, what do they say, University of Florida.
Yeah.
So with March Madness here in our backyard, we talked about that a little bit. Great guy, great ball player, and very nice person.
A big year for him last year, inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame, and tonight, the Thurman Munson Award. We got a chance to catch up with Hojo. For you, I know you're a Met, but I know you said during the press availability that how much you adored Thurman and respected him playing baseball here in New York. So for you, what does it mean to get this award and be part of this event here tonight?
Well, it means a lot. I was telling the guys earlier when I got the word about the award, my wife goes, "Who's Thurman Munson?" So it gave me an opportunity to kind of talk about him. And as a kid growing up, as a young player, to be able to, I don't know, get an award in his name it's unbelievable. It's insane. And I remember like the days when I was a player here and lived in New York. We used to come to the dinner every year because it was a great time to come up. You got to see a who's who of New York sports and spend time, reminiscing about that and meeting new people. So it was really cool.
Congratulations belated on last year getting inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. My family and I were there at Citi Field that day.
Wow.
We have a mixed family. I'm the only Yankee fan in the house, but always respected the Mets, especially.
hold that
No, they don't hold that against Dad. But that was a special day for you, recognizing your contributions to the Mets. What did that day mean to you last year?
It was special. I mean, something I didn't expect it was ever going to happen. And when Steve Cohen called me, I was like, I couldn't even talk for about 5 minutes. That's what it seemed like. I was so taken aback by it. But Steve Cohen did a great job, with the team this year. I think he's got a plan clearly of how to win, and I'm proud to be a part of the organization in that way. Not that I'm a part of the organization, but I'm proud to be associated with the club. I think there's a lot of positives coming our way.
Every championship team in New York is always revered by the fans, but when I think back at '86, that was just a really special year because you guys were so dominant that year in the regular season, created so much drama in the postseason that I think when you look at the history of sports, you might have been the most unique championship team in the history of New York sports with everything that went on with you guys.
Besides the fact Game 6, the way that ended, and people remember where they were when that happened, we still had to win a Game 7. But I think as a group of players, there weren't many better put together than that team. Frank Cashin did a great job putting that team together. Filling all the little gaps, the little holes. If you sat down and you tried to put your team together, you say, okay, we got this, and this. We're a little bit weak here. We need to fill in here, do this and do that. They went out and got players that needed to be here to fill those holes. And so when Frank would get players, we would say, wow, that's what a great fit. And that's the way it was with that team. That's what people remember. It was just a well put together team that had one goal, and that was to win.
How freaked out were you when the guy jumped out of the plane, the skydiver, and landed at Shea?
Whenever I see that on TV, if I'm with somebody, I go, if that happened today, what would happen? If a guy jumped out of the plane in a parachute and came down on the field, he would have been shot out of the sky in 30 seconds. So I remember that so clearly and thought how cool it was. And the people were just insane about that whole scenario when he was coming down, how loud it got in there. And look, everybody's looking and pointing. It's pretty awesome.
This year, Doc and Darryl are going to have their numbers retired by the Mets. Darryl just went through a health scare, so that's going to be a wonderful day. And it's great that he's doing well. But what does it mean to see Doc and Darryl get their numbers retired this year at Citi Field?
It means a lot. I'm going to be here for the Dwight, for the Doc number retirement. I won't be here for the Straw one, but yeah, Straw just got through the heart attack, so he's going to be fine. That's good. Doc was always he and I were always like buddies. He's from Tampa, I'm from Clearwater, so we had a connection with Tampa Bay Bucks, and we always just talk about it. So it was always, we just always got along well.
You glad they re-signed Baker Mayfield?
Oh, I'm 1,000%, man. They got Evans signed, they got Baker signed, they got Levante David signed, they brought back Whitehead from the Jets. I mean, it's over. The South.
I'm going to miss that. I'm a Jet fan, so I'm going to miss Whitehead.
Whitehead was a great pickup by you guys. Yeah. I'm so glad to get him back. Trust me. So yeah, it's going to be fun. But yeah, Doc's special. I mean, nobody dominated hitters like him. Nobody.
3, 2, 1. Thanks again to Howard Johnson for his time. It was a great night here at Pier 60. We had a chance to talk to Diana Munson and Tino Martinez and Howard Johnson. A great event, and fantastic that Sports Bash could be here.
Absolutely. It's always nice to break new barriers down. This is something new for us. We made it here. We had some great interviews, some great content, and really had some fantastic conversations with these stars.
For Vinny Tickets, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks for watching this special edition of Sports Bash presented by Ticketbash.com from the Thurman Munson Award dinner ceremony here at Pier 60 at Chelsea Piers in New York City. Catch us again next time.